Did you know that there are two ways to have a growth mindset? The first one is you win and you learn from it. The other one is you fail and you fail forward, and then again, you learn from it. In the last 30 days, I have worked on my vision, shared it with you, worked on your vision as well, and hoping that together we can have an amazing growth mindset and change the world positively. I often talk about the fact that the best way to learn is to get up and have goals and do little steps towards achieving your goals and then getting closer to your vision. And I've also mentioned to you that often there are positive events and then you can learn and change the world. But sometimes there are negative events that sometimes slows you down, brings you to a stop. But at the same time, you can learn from those events and then move forward. And that's what we called failing forward. Every aspect of life gives us chances to learn so that we can become better people. Often people learn from their mistake, learn from their pain, and from that they can achieve better outcomes. In the last couple of weeks, we've talked about wins. For example, this YouTube channel and you as part of my community have been part of my positive outcome and part of my growth mindset. I've been quite amazed and quite happy with what's happening. And to be able to do that, I've been consistent with filming, with editing, with my message so that together we can make a better world. Other examples of positive outcome, this is the end of the school year and my students are doing well. They've all progressed since week 1 and I'm very proud of them. Consistency was the key. I know that because of COVID-19, a lot of the courses, well, all of them ended up being given online. My students rise to the occasion and they've shared with me their learning. We can also take a few examples on how consistency in actions make a difference. For example, when you brush your teeth every day, once or twice, sometimes 3 times, it makes it that at the end of the year, when you go to the dentist, your dentist is proud of you. Your teeth are nice and you can go on enjoying food, enjoying your smile for another year. You cannot just decide to brush your teeth once every 2 months, hoping that with the same result. Consistency is the key here. Same thing with food and nutrition. If you're consistent with the food intake, how many calories you get in, how much activities you do, consistency makes a difference. You cannot go to the gym every 2 months, spend 2 hours and hoping to be having an amazing body because it doesn't work that way. You need to be consistent. Same thing with kids. When you have kids, you have to be consistent by giving them support, by helping them, guiding them, and being there for them. Because kids don't need you to be there just for birthdays and give gifts. No. They need you to be there every day so that you can guide them. And sometimes you don't have to do very much. Just being them reassures them. And that's how they become resilient. If they win, you share their win. If they fail, you help them to fail forward. Now, sometimes we have negative events and we need to learn from them so that we can fail forward. Among my difficulties, the first one is my weight and my health. I have to be more consistent with physical activity. I'm quite consistent with food, good food, and taking care of my body that way, my mind. However, I need to be more physically active. And that is part of one of my challenges that I have to work on consistently. But I fail forward because I learn from it. And if it happens I fail, I don't stop. I just learn. And then it might take a day, I get up and I continue because life is a journey. Another example of one of my fail is that morning routine, trying to be part of the 5 a.m. club. That has not worked for me because this week again, I've been sleeping through the alarm and getting up between 6 and 6:15 and not at 5 as I want to. Now every day I say, okay, We need to figure out how we can do this, but I don't lose energy. I know that we can work on it. I learn from it, and I know that I have a lot of things to do. And at the end of the day, I don't become upset at the situation. I just realized that maybe there's a lot of things I have to do in a day. And by going to bed at 10 or 11, because that's how much time I need to do things, that my body needs to sleep. Now, what I need to learn is what can I do less in a day so that I can go to bed earlier and then be able to get up early. The next question is, I've been trying for 2 weeks. I'm going to give it a try for another 2 weeks and see what happens. And if I see that it's really not possible, I'll reassess the goal. Is my goal still to get up at 5? Or maybe 6 is better? But before I make that decision, I really need to give it a full month try so that I can really know what's best for me. We've been talking about growth mindset and having a consistent growth mindset. Let me give you 3 tips to be better. So let's see. So my first tip is, I want you, when you have wins, to reflect on your wins so that you can learn from it. Because every wins you have will give you momentum to achieve more wins. And that is what you're looking for. Don't forget that we are all here to learn. I know that my life is a lifelong journey and I will stop learning, well, at the end. So in the meantime, I have lots to learn. Every little win I have creates a momentum that gives me more energy for more wins. And that's how we can improve on what we do. That's how we can expand our mind and achieve our vision in a grander way. My second tip is about failure. If you fail at one of your goals, one of the steps toward your main goal, and you realize that it's not working, I want you to stop and reflect on why it failed. Because if you reflect on it, you'll be able to figure out a few things. First, do you need to learn something new to make sure that it doesn't fail again? Do you need to try harder and focus on something different so that you don't fail? Or maybe that's something that you really don't need to do and maybe you're not ready. Anyhow, regardless of the situation, there's something you can learn from there. And if you learn something new, the next time you try, it will be easier. That's what we call failing forward. You fail, you reflect, you learn from it, you get up and you go. Now, it's not always that easy. Last weekend, I worked hard all week, and on Saturday, I just could not get myself going. My mind was in a fog, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just felt I just couldn't get moving. So what I did is I decided to take a shower and film my YouTube video and edit it. Because I figured that if I can't do anything else that day, I would focus on being consistent with my video. And I did that, and I felt very proud of me at the end of the day. Not that I had done 500 things, is that I felt that I would not be able to do something. But I trusted myself that this was what was important, and I did it so I could get closer to my vision and my end goal. Now, my vision is so big that it will take years to achieve, but that's the beauty of having a goal and doing little steps towards it. When your goal is big enough, when you look back a year from now, you'll notice how great you are and how much you've grown. It's hard from day to day to figure out that one, but if you look back for months or years, you'll see the differences. My third tip is for people that are not doing anything or have not done anything. They're sitting on a couch and they don't know what to do. Well, what I would suggest is to take a personal journal, and I want you to write down one goal that you'd like to achieve, however big or however small it is. And from there, I want you to list 3 things you could do to get closer to that goal. By writing 3 little steps to get you closer to the goal will give you a chance to have little wins. create momentum, and guess what? It will be the start of a new journey for you. I believe in you. For today's homework, I want you to get your journal. It will be done in 3 parts. The first one would be, I want you to list 3 things you do consistently that brings you success. 3 things that you are successful at, and I want you to outline why you are successful. And the reason why you want to do that is it will be the first step at reflecting on your success, so that maybe you can find a trend so that you can use those skills for other aspects of your life. And that is important. The second part of the homework, I would like you to write down 2 things that sometimes you are failing at and that you need to learn from. Because don't forget that if you want to be resilient, you need to learn from your failure. So by writing down 2 things that you try that you fail often. For example, me is consistently do physical activities, and the other one is keeping the kitchen clean. So these are 2 things I need to work on. I need to figure out how I can make it better, and I need to be resilient, knowing that I will achieve it and fail forward. The third part today, to be consistently working on your growth mindset, is to list 1 thing that you need to change. I would like you to outline what is that 1 thing that maybe is not bringing you any happiness in your life. Something that wastes your time in a day, that time that you could use on a project of yours to get closer to what your vision of life is. I want you to list 1 of them, because by writing it down, it will be 1 step closer to say, okay, knowing that I need to get rid of that, what can you change to be able to bring positivity in your life? On this, I'm going to wish you happy growth mindset today. I'm going to put here my playlist for my best life journey. Thank you very much for joining me in this journey, and let's continue.